Let's pray. This is the most important part, seriously. Father, give me your vision. Help me to have enough flowers. And Lord, help me to be able to clearly articulate the steps and not make it overly complicated, but not leave anything critical out. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so these are the biggest urns that we have. My assignment was to teach you how to make a big, kind of showy arrangement. So these are the biggest urns we have. Meg's going to show you where to find all the supplies back here afterwards. These are the liners. Make sure they have the liners. I did this one time when I forgot the liners, and these leak like old boats. So make sure they have the liners in them, all right? Now we're just going to use floral foam, and the reason is that you'll see it gives you a lot of space to add flowers to, and if you have long, big flowers, you get a nice size. When you use floral foam, take a whole big block, it's back there. You don't want to push it down because that will leave air bubbles. So you just, oops, I already made a mistake. Usually I have this in the water when I start. I'm going to add 2 packets of freshener because we're also not only going to use the foam to soak up this water, but fill a watering can with this water, and then fill up, once the arrangement is done, fill the rest of the container. Because what happens is the flowers will start drawing the water up and the foam will start to dry out. But if you have filled up the urn in addition to the foam, it will keep drawing water. So it'll last. Your biggest nightmare is that you arrive at church the day after you've done the thing and your flowers are dead. And everyone's running around like crazy wondering, who did the flowers? All right, so you just plunk it on the top and it will sink down. And then it'll get a nice even coverage, water coverage. I use these. I usually do this in the kitchen. These are nice because they roll around, and you can check out the different angles. The wonderful thing about doing flowers for the church here is that you only have to do the front. The back makes no difference whatsoever. You have to get the sides for the people that sit over there, but the back. This is $100 worth of flowers. I pay for them myself and just get a credit from the church for taxes. It used to buy $100 of flowers. It used to buy more than this. So honestly, I usually spend a little more than $100. This is going to be a nice, simple arrangement. When I shop for flowers, I think about it like I'm central casting. I have my stars, my co-stars, my supporting actors, and my extras. So for today, my stars, and some of them are over here, are 2 different kinds of lilies. Right? I love lilies because they are nice, sturdy, stalky. They don't fall apart. The stems don't fall apart when you are trying to put them in the foam. They give beautiful profile. They have structure. They do cool and funky stuff on the edges of an arrangement. My co-stars today are these roses. I have 2 different kinds, or I thought they were the same kind until this dark pink ones exploded in a really cool way. So I have 2 different colored roses. So I've got my lilies and my roses. These are my stars and my co-stars. Then the supporting actors are the white, the moms, the mini moms, and the stock. This is just called stock, right? That's when it's against the dark wall, colors, even really bright colors that you think will just stand out, tend to kind of get absorbed into the background. So the white gives a nice contrast. So you can put your white along the back and then pop your color in front of them. Okay, still waiting on these. These are almost soaked in. Then the extras are just your greens. I have some calla lilies here. I love calla lilies, but the stalks get mushy when you have them in water. And so, you know, normally I would like them for a profile because they just have such a cool, I might just use them for more pink, but they're expensive. I probably shouldn't have bought them for this, but I'm kind of a sucker for them.
Do you do Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's is the best place. I live in Pikesville, so on Thursdays or Fridays, all the Jews are coming to get for Shabbat their flowers. So sometimes I just head on over to Towson. Yesterday I went to Pikesville first. I was looking for lilies. When you're doing an arrangement and you're ordering flowers from like a wholesaler, you can decide what you want and have a whole picture in your head. And go and order your flowers and get them. When you're shopping to see what's out there, you have to kind of let the flowers tell you what they want to be. So I like monochrome or shades of a certain color, like I've gone with shades of raspberry here. But you can do anything whatever flowers appeal to you. And that's why prayer, I think, sometimes is so important, because God, not to get all weird about it, but God is really the Lord of the flowers, and he has every kind of beautiful, creative arrangement that's ever been done came from his mind. So I've had it happen to me. I've had people tell me I was terrified that I had wrecked this arrangement, and I prayed over it, and I put it up there and come back the next day, and it's like, that's not the arrangement that I made. And there are not little people that come in and redo our arrangement. I mean, it's a thing. So just let God use you to do what he wants to do. All right, so we have these sopping wet things. They're marked on one side. Take one, put it in, this liner has little things on the side, so I just kind of line it up with them. And then just push it down to about, and it's hard, you have to push, but push gently, because the top will break off sometimes. Then it's ruined. You have to do it all again, because you need the block to be whole in order to soak the water. Okay, so it's never even. It's kind of like the Tower of Pisa every time, but it doesn't matter, because the flowers will cover it all. Eventually, I'm going to need that little green watering can toward the end of it.
One back in the sacristy?
Yeah.
You always keep the block whole?
Mm-hmm.
You always keep the block whole?
Yes. For this arrangement, to get the maximum size, you missed the beginning week. I'm teaching how to get a really big arrangement for very little effort. There are all sorts of things that you can do in flower arrangement with wire and tubing and all sorts of mesh. But I'm just doing, this is the easiest.
And it's a little bit of just like feel too. I tend to cut a little bit off. But
Yeah, well, mine are always big. I like big. So I'm just going to move this over here. I will use this again to fill the water in the watering can at the end. All right, so you need to choose a shape, otherwise it'll get away from you. One of the classic shapes, there are really two classic shapes, the triangle shape or like the fan. We're going to do a triangle. Fan would be coming up like this and sort of rounded. We're going to do the triangle because I have the lilies, and they're going to make a really nice, I block out the edges of the arrangement first. So you have to know, because we're going to try to do something identical here. It's nice to have it a little bit different, I've never, ever tried doing a totally different, and yesterday I was thinking, I should just go for something complimentary but totally different. But I honestly, it's a church, and I don't know. People have opinions. So you have to know how many you have. So I have, of these big pink lilies, 1, 2, 3. I lost 2 big blooms this morning, which makes me like want to cry. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here, I think I might have 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got 4 of the big pink ones, although those are pinker than these. So I'm going to start with the high point. That's one of the ones that lost a bloom. Not going to do that. Sorry, I'm kind of turning my back to the camera. All right, the thing with foam, it's wonderful, except it's not forgiving. Okay, once you punch a hole in the foam, you've got a hole in the foam. So you want to really think before you put a flower in. So I usually start, this will be you facing it toward the back. And I don't have to put it in far because it has access to water right here. So I'm going to put it like that. And that's going to be the top of the arrangement. One thing that's important is to make sure, I've done this before, your stems aren't popping out the back, because if they pop out the back, there's no water. And then, surprise, you arrive in church the next day and your flowers have died. And you're like, what happened? All right, so does that look about even to you guys? All right, now I'm going to do the outsides of the triangle. I want to, 1, 2, 2 for each one. Okay, what I do is put a flower in here, put a flower in here, put a flower in here, put a flower in here. So let's do the outside edge for this one. This lost a bloom, but it's a nice big one. Where are my clippers? Clippers! So I would kind of want to go like that. So I'm going to clip it off here, put it in right sideways, like that. I'm looking for one that doesn't have a lot of extra blooms, because that one doesn't. But it, you know, the more flowers you get in, the less it becomes critical. I get real picky at first, but this has extra blooms. Let's see. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of go quickly at this point. You can do this in pairs where one person leads and the other person mirrors, or you can play game with it. You know how you like write a story, build a story, one person says a sentence, you have to build on it. You can do that with flower arrangements, but it gets really dangerous. But if you like a challenge, but I like doing it on my own because I just crank up my music and have my time. I want this to be facing forward. I'm usually standing in front of these, so if you see something that's like, yeah, I think it needs to be turned around, let me know. This is maybe the first time I've ever done it all from the back.
Laura, one thing I wanted to mention is that if you all choose to use those,
the pollen is horrible. It will, yeah.
Be really careful around the altar linens,
Yeah.
or consider pulling it out entirely if you're not.
I did that once, and it looked awful. Pulled it out. It lost its, yeah, it's amazing. It just, the dark, this is what we're the stamens here are just, the powder will get everywhere and it just leaves these rust stains. So thank you, yes, that's important. Okay, I have my outer edges of the triangle. The next thing that I do, and there is no should about any of this. This is just what I do. The next thing that I do, this is number 4 for the pinks. I put one that's like the outside edges, if I'm doing a triangle, right in front. So I need to come around here. Sometimes if the stem is short, you can just plop it in the front of the foam, but just at an angle like that. And normally I'd be doing a lot of stepping back and stepping forward and stepping back and stepping forward. So really, you're going to have to flag me down if I'm screwing up. One of the sad things about doing something like this is a lot of the detail disappears from the pews. Periodically, people will come and actually take a look at the different flowers and everything, but most people won't. It's usually just a bunch of old ladies and flower people who look and even notice them and care. But God notices, so that's how I console myself. Okay, so I've used up the big lilies. Now I'm going with the smaller, darker raspberry. And I want to flesh out the triangle shape. I don't want to go beyond for the main flower, and we're going to do something a little funky at the end, but that's just, so I want to kind of keep the profile behind this line. So about midway, do that. I went to a demonstration. I don't know if you were at the demonstration that we did up in the, yeah. And this lady was a professional florist, and she started with all the background greens. And I was like, what? So there's no should to it. But this is just how my brain works. All right, this was on this side. Okay, so here we get into the mirroring. That's on that side. This is going to be on this side. Let's see. Hello, release. I'm going to do a corresponding one over here. It depends on how well they're holding up. Martha will usually, Tom Bosley, when he worked here, would water them. Sometimes they'll last through the week. If they stay watered, it really depends on how fresh they were when you bought them, what kind of flower they are. Hydrangeas, I love working with them, but they don't tend to stay. I mean, you're very blessed if they stay through Sunday morning, because water is the thing, and their hydrangeas just decide to not thrive. And you'll have a bunch that you bought at the same time, and all of them will be beautiful, and then there's one that's just this ugly old Kleenexy look. So they're a little risky.
Yeah, typically Martha's cleaned something up by then, but sometimes there's stuff still hanging around.
Yeah.
Just want to kind of clean up whatever's left over before you.
Okay. One thing that I'm doing here is leaving the leaves on. I don't always do that. I don't have a lot of flowers. I only have a little bit of greenery. So I'm trying to take use. These, you wouldn't want these standing like this by themselves, because these leaves, not all of them are lovely. But in general, in an arrangement, they'll take up space. Okay, I've got 2 on both sides. Okay. I need to just take a look at the front for a second. Okay. Now I'm going to start with my coasters, the roses. And because the dark pink ones got big overnight and like really worked overtime to impress me, I'm gonna.
Well, typically the main stars of the arrangement, will the shape be made out of those primarily, like you have here with the lilies, like every time?
No. The question is, when you choose your points of, your profile, the main stars, will they determine the shape?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that at all. No, you can, what I was saying before, the green background, that kind of made the shape, and then she stuck flowers in between it. So this is just, I like lilies because of the profile. It's not quite as smooth. But no, it's completely up to you. I think it's on the Google Drive. I did an arrangement with allium, purple allium. That was, I did 2 arrangements. One was just normal church arrangement, but I did one that was kind of outside the box, and it's on there. And it was spiky, and it was different. And I got feedback. I liked them, but yes, I got feedback. So.
You also like Pat likes to do asymmetrical.
Well, I love asymmetrical. So we'll add a little flair. Okay, so this needs to be shorter because we don't want so much to come out like this, as we want to maintain just a color, a look of color. These leaves. So again, I'm doing the. All right. Then I'm going to do a light pink one on the other side. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to do another dark pink. Ooh, look at that one. That's cool. We weren't even sure what these were when we looked at them this morning. We're like, are those roses? They looked like roses when I bought them. They are roses. Okay. This is a little terrifying doing it from the back. Yeah.
There are tutorials on YouTube also.
That one got a little short. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and then you start to panic. Like when I got them here, I was like, that doesn't look like as much as it was sitting on my mudroom bench.
I would recommend going to like Home Depot and getting 3 or 4 of those 5-gallon.
That's nice too. Yeah. Okay, so let's do all the dark pink roses. We have 2 more for each one.
Trader Joe's will give you those buckets.
Yeah, they just give them to you for free. Again, make sure that you're staying within the, see, this one kind of violates the principle a little. Down, boy. All right. I have no idea, but I would say, yeah, you want to be at least an inch in, just because the foam is soft, and if gravity makes a larger hole, suddenly you might lose touch with the water in it, even though it's in it. It could be just kind of like dangling in the hole. That sounds really scary, but yeah, I would say you want to be at least an inch in. Part of the problem is you start running into the bottoms of your stems inside. Oh, okay, that space is full already. Which is another reason I like leaving the whole thing on the outside. Okay, so we've got the 2 roses there. 2 here. And then the pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So I'm going to have an extra that I'll save just to see if I want to stick it in some weird place. You don't have to make them identical. I think it works better if they're close to being identical, but identical is not required. Okay. Exactly, friends. What did you do? You said sisters, but not twins, but sisters. Yeah, exactly.
Is there just one big one in the middle? Or just 2 on the
I just was wondering about that because I thought, would it be faster to just do one big one? I think that's allowed, right? But
As far as I know, we can kind of do whatever we want.
Okay.
The only reason I think we're sticking now to the 2 is because on the live stream, when you look
Gotcha.
at like when you look at him preaching, there's an arrangement right over his shoulder right now, which looks really nice. And if you don't have hair
That's right.
on your shoulder, it's not that that's the end of the world,
Yeah.
but that's just why we sort of stuck there. But we don't have to. And it's a lot easier, frankly, to make one big one in the middle.
That one's not going to make me happy. Okay. This one's going to be a little droopy. We'll have to prop it up with something else. Oh, there's, he does. He does. There's, yeah. There's some things that David doesn't like to be talked to about. Technology is one. He'll be like, no, 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 not listening, not listening. Flowers is another one. Not listening, not listening.
And I've looked at online at like, are there like
Yeah.
Like we don't do flowers during Advent, we just do greens. But I talked to David about it, and he's like, I don't know.
All right. Okay, I've already deviated from the pattern because I had an extra one. I had this one. Yeah, it's not identical anymore, which is fine. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lilies left. I think I'm gonna fill in the backs here. I keep forgetting they're backwards. Oh, those are nice.
Were those lilies open when you got them, or did you
Some were, some weren't.
take a while?
I only got them yesterday, so I chose ones that are open because sometimes they don't open when you want them to. Yeah.
So what, like, time frame?
Well, surely they would open in like 3 or 4 days. I remember one Easter when, the lilies are kind of critical and they didn't open and they didn't open, and Pat Anderson was in charge, and I forget what she did. She did something.
Or not the Easter lilies?
The Easter lilies. I think, or maybe it was some other, I think it was Easter lilies, and they were all like, and she was freaking out. And that was another thing with prayer, because I remember her saying, because she went ahead and put them out, and I remember her saying, they were open on Easter morning. So you just, yeah, God is the ultimate decider. Okay, so, no, I haven't done those two. Okay, so I have that one on that side, that one on that side. Okay, this is going to be tricky. I need it to go right there. I usually go Thursday, and then.
Say I haven't gone to Trader Joe's and come straight here on a Saturday.
Oh gosh, I've never been brave enough to do that, but I definitely have. Yeah, Thursday I think is the best, and I come home, I open them up, I snip them again, I put them in fresh water with freshener in it, and sit them in a windowsill, and then for 2.5 days, they're just sitting there because they get a little traumatized being jostled around. And all right, how is that looking? Is it looking even? Okay. This one? You do? Not the freshener? I'm not sure if it makes a difference either, but I use it. I haven't not used it, so I don't know if it makes a difference or not. Is that better? The front lily here better? Okay, let me just take a look here. All right. Okay, now it's time to, ooh, hello. Okay, I'm gonna use one in the back, just like that. Hello, how are you? And this one only has one bloom. All right, now for some mums. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, I have to come around to the front. I'm filling in, yeah. I've blocked out the main act. Now I'm just filling in.
Feel free to come around because
I am, yeah. And that's why these carts are so wonderful because they spin. Good question. Are there other things going on at church? We have had people show up for doing their flowers, and there's been a wedding or a funeral. We're trying to coordinate more. I haven't, I think lately.
Martha's, you won't see a calendar, but Martha's pretty good about.
Yeah, letting people know. Yeah, all right, I'm just turning these to face me, but you can see now what will need to be filled in from the sides.
Yeah, so when you come on a Saturday or Friday or whenever you do your flowers, you really don't want to do them at home unless you have a way to transport something. Just bring them and someone remotely lets you in. I never know who.
Yeah, even if there are absolutely no cars, and there are usually no cars here when I get here, which is why I can crank my music and dance around and do my flower thing.
it's nice when you're at home just letting people
Yeah.
access them.
Yeah, I think it's usually Brad or Goya. Every once in a while, I have to stop and be like, "Can someone else?"
Yeah, and because it's Saturday, a lot of times, you know, people are at soccer games with their kids. Martha will tell me, keep ringing. I am aware that you're so I usually give somebody, Martha and Brad, or a heads up that like around 2 I'm coming to church, just so that they can. That's 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh Lord, running out of flowers, God. All right. Okay. All right. Mini mums and stock, and these cool little things, whatever they are. No, not the callus. What are these things? Oh, I opened up the package. I don't know. Does anybody know what these are? I have an app, but I don't want to take the time to use it. They are. They're like little pom-poms. The green and the pink. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, I've got an extra white. Oh, no, I don't. All right, now I'm really like veering off mirroring, just kind of. All right, so I pulled one out. Now I have a gaping hole. So I really have to make sure that's in there. Okay, mini moms. All these little things don't show up, but in one big bunch, they do. So when you have like teeny little flowers, don't worry about throwing out what you just want is kind of a presence. Like, I want something like that right there. Hello. All right, at this point, I want to kind of see where the holes are. Put it against a dark background. Holes are fine, I think. I mean, you see the dark wood behind them, it plays up the individual flowers. So, don't freak out if you don't have a mass of flowers. But you do want to make sure that it doesn't look unintentional, that your holes don't look like accidents.
You can always add some greens in the way back.
Yeah, that's, well, always, always, always. Because you'll see on the sides, pretty sparse presentation. We'll take care of that soon. But I kind of like not having the top and back filled up. I might leave it that way. All right, let's add some more pink. You tell me where you think. Front, right, front, left, up, down. It needs more color, and pink or white.
It needs more to be on the left.
The three corners, yeah, okay.
Each too far to the left.
Yeah.
Higher, maybe little purples or blues.
I just finished telling people you don't indulge in flower talk.
Hey guys, thank you for being here. So grateful for the street. Laura, thank you. We're taking a break from our best friend.
No, you're welcome. I love it.
Really, really appreciate you all. Thank you, Max, for your leadership. Cool kids. I want to hang with the cool kids. Good to see you all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Still trying to keep that profile. Okay. All right, I'm going to start adding some greens just to kind of these I'm just sticking in the water in the back.
Not in the block at all?
Hmm?
They're not in the block at all?
No. Which means that they can fall, so I'm going to pay attention to them. I've got them kind of wedged together in the urn. They're kind of keeping each other in place. I'll show you in a second. Okay, this one goes in the block. No, it doesn't. All right, so I'm just sticking down in there like that. Here, this will give me a chance to look at the front for a while. I don't know if the people that came later, I said this is about $100 worth of flowers from Trader Joe's. I usually spend, that's what it used to cost me. Oh, that lily is, it's a good thing nobody will see it up close. That's what I used to spend years ago, and it honestly, I buy more flowers than this usually. Not necessarily the stars and co-stars, but I could have used more greens. It doesn't add to anything.
So you guys have the option of, you can submit your receipt and get reimbursed for your flowers up to
Yeah.
$75 or $80, which is fine. Or you can submit your receipt as a tap. So it's up to you. I don't want anyone to ever feel like, they can't afford to be in the flower industry.
Okay, I'm going to put one of these in the front. These little puffball things. Like that.
I have a form. Okay, yeah, just fill out.
Okay. Now let's. I'll look at I could extend the sides out or just fill in the back. I'm just going to fill in the back. Be honest with me, is it really too scrappy looking still? Okay. This wants to pull forward. There we go. Too high? Yeah. This one, on this one? Yeah, it needs to be shorter. And that was, whoops, thank you. That was just in the water. Oh, no, it wasn't. Well, it's going to be now. Better. And where was this? It was right outside. Like that? Yes, that's always nice. Where did I put that now? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you get those at Trader Joe's?
I got everything in one stop at the Towson Trader Joe's. I love the Towson Trader Joe's. I actually like my Trader Joe's a little bit more because it has unique, a lot of times it has really unique flowers, but they just, on Thursdays and Fridays, they are gone. I said I live in Pikesville, in Jewish Shabbat.
I love the Pikesville Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I do too. But you have to.
You go at 8:01.
Yeah.
Everyone's just calling for the flowers.
Well, that looks pretty from the back.
You waited till Saturday, which you don't recommend.
No, it's empty. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have sort of learn who you like to work with. Like, one of the things I love is Wegmans carries star lilies.
Wegmans also has just some really unique, and sometimes Fresh Market. I go there. There's one in Pikesville in the Quarry Lake, and there's one in Towson. They will have interesting.
And shop your backyard for greens.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Laurel bushes and akubas and, yeah, holly. Yeah. All right. So,
But I always hesitate. I've never used them.
what?
Because
What?
I have some kind of leaves that are green more yellow on the outside than those. I'm not sure what they are.
It sounds like maybe a Cuba.
They look like they're real.
Do they have spots on them sometimes? Oh, yeah, that would work. That would work. You know, cut one, take it to the food store with you or Trader Joe's and then see what flowers. And then, you know, once you know,
Right.
you can. All right. The sides are looking pretty good, actually. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit of the, I am liking these suddenly. Don't want to do that. Okay, so now it's just, thank you, God. I was so afraid that now it's just kind of, and here's the other thing. You do not have to use all your flowers. I can't tell you how many times I was panicking and then I overbought and then I felt like I had to use them all. You don't. You really, yeah. And you can ruin a look, and a nice look, by just trying not to. And so, you know, I take them home. My daughter is so excited to get leftover flowers. So excited. Yeah. Yeah. Who loves flowers and, you know, just can't afford to just go get them. So I'm using these little pink things. Yeah, I guess these are mums because the leaves are very mummy. Okay, right in there needs some stuff. Okay, I need to just look at the front more right now. Sorry, ladies.
It's really looking beautiful.
Whoops, traffic jam. I ran into another stem. Okay, well, that'll work. Okay, I need a long distance look at this. All right. All right, it still needs filling in down on the sides there. Bring it back for the camera, Laura. That's too much. I put that on that side, this on this side. Oh, that doesn't really need it. All right, I'm going to try some of these callas, just to change the profile a little bit. See how the bottoms just get, And you can't jam them in the foam because they just smush up. But the cool thing about Callas is they just have this great profile. So, oops, that one's not lovely. So I'm just going to try to do something like that on either side. And nope. Okay. Huh. I must have put these in the direct sun. They weren't like this when I bought them. If you like calla lilies, come and help yourself after this, because I'm not going to use the rest of them. They look really pretty in just little bud jars. Nope, that does not want to happen. That's the one I rejected. The reject. Sorry, this is pretty boring. Nope. Hmm? Yeah. And Laura decides she doesn't like any of the calla lilies. Switch to commercial. So I've got these little pom-poms. I've got stock and mini moms. I'm going to do a little woohoo out one side or the other. But what do you think maybe still needs filling in? I'm going to put the other calla lily. Anything? Does it still need stuff in there? Over here? In the front. Here. Yeah. Oh, up. Oh, yeah. There's a hole. That's a hole. All right. And see how I'm kind of slanting these upside down? But if you keep water up to the, almost the top in this, the brick will keep drinking up. I mean, the flowers will keep drinking up the water. So. Does that look weird? Does that look like that one? Doesn't really look like that one, does it? Needs to be. I might tweak it later. And the hole. What does it need? Pink, light green, white. What do you think? Hole somewhere in there. We haven't used any of the light green. The stock. I love stock. Stock is the best. It doesn't die. It's a sturdy stem. It's cheap. It's beautiful. It fills in things. It's not a prima donna.
It's a great flower for creating shade too.
Yeah.
Usually a soft create shade. I'll make my triangles for shape of stock.
Okay. Too much? Okay. Now, does this one need something? Okay.
I would say maybe a stock on the left,
On here or here?
in front of that, yeah.
On this one?
No, well, that one could too. I don't know how much you want to fill it.
Over here. Same spot on this.
No, the left side on that one. There's a hole.
I'm being really dyslexic now. Oh, here. Okay, yes.
Instead of the lilies on the 1, 2, 3, you use the pink stock kind of. Flora, like I like to make my and so it's one of the things I like. I often use stock to make my shade. I'm not using lilies.
Okay, or a little bit more. Another one. Yep. Like right in here.
A little bit closer to in front of that lily.
This, in front of this lily. Where's that lily coming from? Oh, I'm so afraid I just broke that leaf. I lost 2 big blooms, lily blooms this morning getting these in the car, so I didn't want to lose anymore. Is that better? Okay, and it needs some little spot in there. But honestly, when you get them back up by the altar, it all kind of disappears. All right, now I'm going to use the stock, or should I use these? To do like a, like a wayward child. Look at me. And then one on the other side over there. No. Never mind then. No, I think the top lily is kind of doing its own thing up there. What do you think? Yeah, I don't think it needs a woohoo flower.
I always think like down the bottom, just above that rose, the sideways rose.
Down like here, like,
On the other
okay, you know what, I think we're done. I'm gonna make sure it meets my standards, but that's kind of the thing. And it's fun, and yeah. Take home flowers. Not much, but yeah, I might get them up on the altar and then add some stuff if. But then I take pictures. Usually it's not as much garbage. I take pictures when I get them on the altar, but I also take close-up pictures for myself when they're still right here. Questions?
Could you just rattle off a few, like, which are the stars, which are the...
Yeah, the lilies that formed kind of the perimeter, and then mostly the stars are the color, the pops of color, and the roses. For this, it was the lilies and the roses to give the kind of raspberry color. The white were the co-stars to just lighten it up around the edges and give something for the darker colors to sit against so that they don't, because even up on the altar, if these pink flowers were only against the green, you would lose some of the contrast. It just happens with the distance. Because it's dark, I can get away with less fullness here. You'll never really notice. And if it was against white, it would be a different kind of effect. It would be a more lacy kind of look, which, you know, if you like it, go for it. So the lilies and the roses were the stars, the white mums, and the stock were the supporting actors, and the extras was all the greenery. I used to teach drama.
That's a fun way to